this information will be very much helpful for you to identify the reactants. It means which is more reactive and which is less reactive metal. How to identify which is more reactive element and which is less reactive element, a metal. Okay, let's see. See students, to discuss the topic, first we need to understand the concept that is called as reactivity. That is reactivity series. That is called as reactivity series or reactivity series of metals. Reactivity series of metals. Okay, this is also called as, we can call this as, or that is activity series of metals. Sometimes we also call that as activity series of metals. Okay, dear students, one thing, as we have learnt in the previous class, that is when zinc reacts with copper sulfate, we have seen that zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate, right? So it becomes zinc sulfate and copper. Correct, no children? So from here what we have concluded? We concluded that zinc displaces or removes copper from copper sulfate, solution. Correct, no? Yes or no? Now we have noticed this, zinc displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. Now my question is it possible? My question is in the same reaction, is it possible, in the same reaction, is it possible that copper displaces zinc? Is it possible copper displaces zinc? Okay, the question is, here we have observed zinc displaces copper in this reaction. Correct, no children? In this reaction we have observed zinc has removed copper. Now my question is it possible that copper can displace zinc? Is it possible that copper can displace zinc? For an example, is this reaction is possible when copper reacts with zinc sulfate? Is it possible that no reaction takes place? Is it possible when copper reacts with zinc sulfate? Okay, is no reaction is going to take place? Is it possible? Understood, children? Here we have noticed that copper cannot displace zinc, right? In the above equation, copper cannot displace zinc, but in this case, when copper reacts with zinc sulfate, do you think that there is no reaction is going to take place? Is the reaction is going to take place here? Is the reaction is going to take place here? This is very important question, right? So this raises so many questions. Which metal can displace another metal from the solution? Now we have the doubt. Now we all have the doubt. What is the doubt? What is the doubt, children? We have which metal can displace, another metal from the solution. Okay, which metal can displace another metal from the solution? Now we should know this. Now we have to know this. Which metal can displace another metal? Which metal has that power to displace another metal? Which metal has the power? कौन से मेटल के पास उतनी ताकत है जो ताकत की वजह से वो दूसरे मेटल को निकाल सकता है उसके घर से? ಯಾವ ಮೆಟಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮೆಟಲ್ಗೆ ಅದು ತೆಗಿಯಷ್ಟು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಅದತ್ರ ಇದೆ. ಆ ತರ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡ್ತೀರಾ? How can you identify which metal has that property or which metal has that power? Understood? That it can displace from the displace another metal from the solution. To understand this question, you should have and you should know some metals about some metals. You should know about some metals. Okay, to understand this question, we should know some metals are chemically very reactive and some are less reactive. You should know this. You should know this. What we should know? All metals are not equal. All metals are not stable. All metals are not completely more reactive. Some metals are more reactive and some metals are less reactive. You should know this. What we should know? Some metals are chemically, some metals are what, children? They are chemically very stable. Some metals are chemically very stable, or we can also say very reactive. Some metals are very reactive. Understood? While others are less reactive. Understood, children? Some are more reactive while some are less reactive. If you want to know which are more reactive and which are less reactive, you should first arrange them in some order. We need to arrange this in some order. Understood, children? How to arrange them in an order? Understood? How to arrange the elements in an order? So always we give preference to this. Always what we do here, we arrange the metals. Means always what we do, we arrange the metals. We arrange the metals. We arrange the metals in their decreasing order. In their decreasing order. Always we arrange the metals in decreasing order of their reactivities. Of their reactivities. Understood, children? Always we arrange the metals how? We arrange the metals in their decreasing order of their reactivities. Understood? So if we are going to arrange the metals in their decreasing order, what we call this as? This phenomena is called as reactivity series. This phenomena is called as reactivity series. Understood? So what is reactivity series? What is the meaning of reactivity series? It is also called as reactivity series, or it is also called as activity series. It is also called as, children's, activity series of metals. So what is reactivity series or activity series of metals? That is nothing but the arrangement of metals, the arrangement of metals in the decreasing order, the arrangement of metals in the decreasing order of their reactivities, is called reactivity series. This arrangement is called as reactivity series. Now the question is, sir, why we want to study this table or why we want to study this chart? Very simple. If you are going to study this chart, easily you can tell which is highly reactive and which is low reactive. Whether this metal can displace another metal or not, that we can easily identify. Understood, children? Let's see. See children, we are going to study this reactivity series of metals. We go from upward, from top to bottom. How we move from top to bottom, this shows that decreasing reactivity. So here the highest element you can see here, this is the most reactive element. Okay, so which is the most reactive element? K, that is sodium, sorry, K is potassium, sodium, barium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, that is Fe, cobalt, okay, nickel, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, mercury, silver, gold, platinum. Just a minute, dear students, one thing, the elements which are above hydrogen, the elements which are above hydrogen, they all are more reactive elements, and the elements below hydrogen, you can see copper, that is Hg is mercury, silver, okay, silver, Ag is mercury, okay, Ag is silver, Hg is mercury, next is gold, Au is gold, platinum, these all are least reactive elements. These all are least reactive elements. Understood children? So you need to remember this, which are the least reactive elements, and you can see more than hydrogen, above hydrogen, which all we have, these all are more reactive elements. Understood? Is this clear? If you want, again you can see, I'll just show you which are the elements more reactive. The elements which are more reactive are, just a minute, the elements which are more reactive are K is potassium, Na is sodium, Ba is barium, Ca calcium, Mg is magnesium, Al aluminum, Zn is zinc, Fe is iron, that is ferrous, Co is cobalt, Na is nickel, Sn is tin, Pb is lead, H is hydrogen, Cu is copper, Hg is mercury, Ag is silver, Au is gold, aurum, that is Pt is platinum. Understood? So the elements which are below hydrogen, these all are least reactive elements, and the elements above hydrogen, these all are most reactive elements. Understood? So here the metal which is having higher in the reactivity series is more reactive. The elements, understood children? The elements which is higher, the elements which is higher in the reactivity series, the elements which is higher in the reactivity series is more reactive, Why? Simple, because it can readily lose electrons, Understood children? Because already he has more electrons, no? Because he is more reactive means definitely he has more number of electrons, so he is ready to lose electrons. He can donate electrons to anyone, yes or no? So it can readily lose electrons, correct? It can readily lose electrons and change into positive ion, he will donate the electron, so he will be having positive charge on them, that is positive ion. So which is the most reactive element? Which is the most reactive element, children? That is potassium, correct? Potassium, that is nothing but K. So only always we say okay means we write K, no? Because that is most reactive, so only. Correct, no? Yes, very good. So potassium K is the most reactive metal, okay? Similarly, platinum platinum, that is Pt, is the least reactive metal. Understood, children? Potassium is most reactive and platinum is least reactive. Platinum is least reactive. See children, this all information is not given in your text, but we are going to study in the chapter metals and non-metals. But still here this information is very important. You should know this. So in general we can say that a more reactive metal, always we place them in higher in the activity series. Why? Because they can displace the less reactive metal from its solution. Understood? So we have already discussed many concepts, like when zinc reacts with copper sulfate, what happens? Understood? When zinc reacts with copper sulfate, it gives zinc sulfate and copper, but copper cannot displace zinc from zinc sulfate. Why? Because it is least reactive. This was our question. On above I have given the question, right? Why copper cannot displace? Because it is least reactive. Since copper is least reactive, so it cannot displace zinc. It cannot displace zinc. Understood? Is this clear? Very good. Now let me study the topic oxidation. This is the new topic what we are going to study. That is nothing but oxidation, reduction, oxidation, reduction reactions, oxidation, reduction reactions. So now we are going to study the new topic about oxidation, reduction reaction. Children, this oxidation concept is very important, because this word will be using in many chapters. So it is very important that you need to study the concept called as oxidation and reduction reaction. Okay. See children, here we have we have two types of in addition to the above types of reaction. Now what we have discussed: combination, decomposition, displacement, double displacement. In addition to these all reactions, we have another two types of reactions. Commonly we call this as redox reaction. Commonly we called as redox reactions. Okay. So it's nothing but redox reaction is the combination of oxidation and reduction, both these reactions together. Understood? In these reactions, oxidation and reduction occur in the same reaction. What is reduction? Redox reaction. Redox reaction means nothing but during any reaction, okay, during reaction, both oxidation and reduction occur. Okay, this type of reaction is called as redox reaction. If in the reaction both oxidation and reduction, both if it is happening in the same reaction, then we call this reaction as redox reaction. Now let me perform some activity to understand what is oxidation reaction. What is the meaning of oxidation? Just now we are targeting on which part? We are targeting on the part oxidation. See children, I am going to explain you this concept still more in detail. Okay, so it is very interesting and you should know this concept, very important. Oxidation. To understand this oxidation concept, we are going to perform one activity. Let me perform one activity to understand what is meant by oxidation, or how oxidation process is going to takes place. Okay, for that what I will do, very simple. I am taking some apparatus. Okay, I am taking one burner. Okay, this is a stand. Okay, so this is a mesh actually, and we have the lamp here. This is the tripod stand actually. Okay, so we have the spirit lamp or burner. We are using spirit lamp or burner. Okay, Now let me take one dish, china dish. I am using one china dish here. I have taken one china dish. So now what I am doing here, I am taking around 1 gram of copper powder. How many grams, children? 1 gram of copper powder. Can you see here? It is not the actual color of the powder, just I am taking here. Okay. So I have taken 1 gram of copper powder in the china dish. Now we are going to heat this dish. Now I am going to switch on this lamp, spirit lamp. Now I am heating this. What I am doing, I have started heating this. Okay, I have started heating this. So inside this, what is present? Copper powder. What is present, children? Copper powder is present, and this is nothing but wire gauge. This we called as wire gauge, and this is our tripod stand. This is our tripod stand, and this is nothing but the burner. We are using the spirit lamp or burner, we can use it. Okay, anyhow, we are just heating this copper powder. Once you heat this copper powder, what happens? After we heat this copper powder, what is the result? What do we observe? We can observe here a brown surface of copper. What we can observe? A brown surface of copper. So copper actually it is in brown color. Okay, brown surface of copper becomes, first it was in brown color, okay, becomes coated with black copper oxide. It has coated with what, children? Black copper oxide, means it has changed its color. Brown color surface of copper powder, it becomes coated with black copper oxide. It has coated with black copper oxide. So here we can give the reaction, that is nothing but copper, that is Cu. When we heat it, it combines with the air. When we heat, it means in the presence of oxygen, means oxygen, copper and oxygen, when it is heated together, okay, once if we are heating this together, we get copper oxide. What did we got? We got CuO. What do we got? What do we get here? CuO, means nothing but copper oxide. When copper combines with oxygen, it gives copper oxide. First it was only copper. Due to we are heating, while we are heating, definitely it combines with oxygen. Due to the presence of, when we have added oxygen to this, so it has become copper oxide. It has become copper oxide. It is balanced? No, just you can put 2. So here we have seen some changes happened. Here we can see some changes has been happened. Correct? No? Fine. Now what we do here, very simple. We pass hydrogen gas over heated copper oxide. Now what I am doing? We got copper oxide, no? We got copper oxide? Yes. On this copper oxide, what I do? Now we pass. Now what we are doing, children? Now let me pass which gas? Hydrogen gas. Now I am passing hydrogen gas. Where? I am passing hydrogen gas over heated copper oxide. On heated copper oxide, that is nothing but CuO. On CuO I am passing hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas को मैं CuO के ऊपर अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ बेटा, पास कर रहा हूँ. ಕಾಪರ್ ಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Then what happens? When I pass hydrogen gas over heated copper oxide, then what happens? We can see here, very simple, the black coating. We got black coating, no? Yes or no? We got brown surface has converted into black copper oxide, correct? So this black coating, understood? Black coating on the surface of copper black coating on the surface of copper turns brown. Turns brown means again it has changed its color. Now again it has changed into brown color. Understood? Since it has changed into brown color, we can say that this is because, how it has happened? This is because copper oxide, this is because copper oxide reacts with hydrogen to give copper. Reacts with hydrogen to give copper. Understood, children? When we have heated copper with oxygen together, we got copper oxide. That is, brown color has converted into black color. Now again when we pass hydrogen gas on this copper oxide, again this black coating has changed into brown color. Why? Because copper oxide reacts with hydrogen. Copper oxide reacts with hydrogen. When copper reacts with hydrogen, again it has changed into brown color. Again it has changed into brown color. So we can give the equation that when copper oxide, okay, we are passing with hydrogen gas, so what happens? It becomes copper plus water. Now it has reduced water. Means copper oxide has changed into copper. First copper has changed into copper oxide. Now copper oxide again it has changed into its own shape. Which is that shape? That's nothing but copper. Again when we are heating this. Understood, children? You understood, no? When copper has heated, just we are heating copper, so definitely it combines with air, atmospheric air, that is oxygen, so it gives copper oxide. Again copper oxide, again when we are passing with hydrogen, what happens? It is becoming copper. So this is nothing but it is the reverse reaction of the above reaction. Yes or no? This reaction is reverse reaction of the above reaction. So here we can say that what is our conclusion from this experiment? We can say that if a substance gains oxygen, during a reaction, it is said to be oxidized. Understood, children? If a substance gains oxygen, अगर से oxygen उसको मिल रहा है, he is adding oxygen, addition of oxygen. Understood? If a substance gains oxygen during a reaction, then we call this as it is oxidized. Understood? Similarly, if a substance loses oxygen, during a reaction, it is said to be reduced. Means loss of oxygen. If it is there gain of oxygen, if we have gain of oxygen, then it is called as oxidized. If it is loss of oxygen, then it is known as reduced. So here we can say that in the above reaction, we can say that copper gains oxygen. Yes or no? In the above reaction, we can say that copper in the first case, okay? In first case, what did we observe? Copper gains oxygen. Correct, no? Copper gains oxygen. So what we can say? And copper is said to be oxidized. Understood, children? In the above reaction, copper has gained oxygen, no? So copper is oxidized. Understood? Similarly, if we see the second case, if we see the second reaction, copper oxide loses oxygen. Copper oxide loses oxygen. Correct, no? In copper oxide loses oxygen. Understood? And is being reduced. And is being reduced. And is being reduced. In other words, if you want to say one reactant get oxidized while other is getting reduced in the same reaction. Yes or no? In the same reaction, what did we notice? One reactant get oxidized while other gets reduced. We have noticed. What did we notice, children? We have noticed here in the same reaction, it's nothing but during the reaction, we can say here, instead of that, we can say that one reactant gets oxidized when one reactant get oxidized while the other gets reduced. Understood? During a reaction, one reactant get oxidized while the other gets reduced during the same reaction. This is known as this reaction. Understood? This occurs side by side. Okay, one first oxidation will happen, again reduction will happen. So this reaction, this type of reactions, that is, these reactions are called oxidation reduction. This type of reactions, what we called as oxidation reduction reactions. We call this as oxidation reduction reactions, or it is also called as redox reactions. Understood, children? What is the meaning of oxidation reduction reactions? So here copper gains oxygen, so copper is said to be oxidized. Here copper oxide loses oxygen, so we say copper copper oxide is losing oxygen, so we call this as reduced. In this reaction, copper oxide is reduced. Understood? Here the same process we can explain in one equation. Now the equation what we saw above in that activity, the same equation we can represent in one line. We can represent this in one line. Okay, that is CuO, that is copper oxide. We got copper oxide, no? Yes or no? Copper oxide, when we are passing this with hydrogen gas, it is reacting with hydrogen gas, then it gives copper and water. This is our main equation. Copper oxide plus hydrogen gives copper plus water. Now you want to identify where is oxidation is taking place and where is reduction is taking place. Where oxidation is happening and where reduction is happening. Children, please do remember, if you want to check where is oxidation and where is reduction is happening, you have to see the product side. See the product side first, and then you can see the reactant side also. See, children, in the reactant side, this is my reactant. Yes or no? This is my reactant side and this is my product side. First you can see here we have CuO. Can you see in reactant side we have CuO. When CuO, while CuO it goes to the product side, it is becoming only Cu. It means what? First we have CuO. First we had CuO. O is there. With CuO is there. When it is coming to product side, it is becoming Cu. Means it is losing oxygen. Yes or no? देखो बेटा LHS में क्या है, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में क्या है, CuO है. ಏನಿದೆ CuO ಇದೆ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ CuO ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, Cu ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ O ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ O ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. CuO is becoming Cu, then we called as reduction. Let me ask you to identify which is reduction, then you should write CuO becomes Cu. This is called as reduction. And which is oxidation? See, first it has H2. While it is going to the product side, it is becoming H2O. No, O is coming with H2. First it was only H2. Now H2O. Then this is known as oxidation. Then this is known as oxidation. Understood, children? So here, sometimes they will give you the reaction like this. CuO plus H2 gives Cu plus H2O. They will ask you to identify where is oxidation is happening and where is reduction is going to take place. Understood? Then what you will write? Where is oxidation is happening? Where is oxidation is going to take place? Oxidation is where is happening, children? H2 becomes H2O. So this is oxidation. Then where is reduction is going to take place? Where is reduction is happening, children? That is nothing but CuO becomes Cu. This is reduction. So this is oxidation, this reaction is oxidation, and this reaction is reduction in the above reaction. Understood, children? So in general, oxidation and reduction both are broadly classified as oxidation is nothing but addition of oxygen. Addition of oxygen. In general, what we say, oxidation means addition of oxygen. Understood, children? If we have addition of oxygen, means we are adding oxygen in the product side. In the product side, very important is product side. Okay, addition of oxygen. If oxygen is adding, then definitely opposite side there will be removal of hydrogen. So hydrogen is going out. Remember, if oxygen comes in, hydrogen goes out. If hydrogen comes in, oxygen goes out. Opposite. Addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is called as oxidation. So we call this as oxidation. Understood, children? Addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is called as oxidation. Now let me see example of oxidation. For example, Na plus O2 gives Na2O. Sodium plus oxygen gives sodium oxide. Here we can see, first it was only Na. Now when it is coming product side, it becoming Na2O, means NaO. O is coming with Na. First here only Na, but here NaO. O is coming with Na. So it is oxidation. Like that you have to see. Okay. Now is it balanced? No. Then what we do here, we write 4 here and we write 2 here. Okay. Here all we can see addition of oxygen. I am taking example, and one more example, like when magnesium combines with oxygen, it gives magnesium oxide. Correct? No. See here, first it was only Mg, now here MgO. Correct? So that's nothing but this is also oxidation. Is it balanced? No. Then you can write 2 here, then you can write 2 here. Okay. Now third case we can see now children, in this both cases, what did we notice? Addition of oxygen. We have noticed addition of oxygen. Now third case we can take hydrogen sulfide, that is H2S. When it combines with oxygen, it gives water plus sulfur. Okay, this is also oxidation only. See H2S, first it was H2S, now it is H2O, means from with H, O is coming. H and S two terms are here. Here H and O is there. With H, O is there, no, with H. So this is oxidation. It means removal of hydrogen. Understood, children? H2S plus O2 becomes H2O plus S. So is it balanced? No. We can write 2 here, we can write 2 here, and we can also write 2 here. Now it is balanced. Next option, HCl plus MnO2, magnesium oxide, hydrochloride plus magnesium oxide, it gives magnesium chloride plus water plus Cl2, chlorine. Is it balanced? No. Then you can put 4 here and you can put 2 here. No, it is balanced. Now we can see, children, in the next two cases we have seen there is removal of hydrogen. We have seen there is removal of hydrogen, means H is not single, H was with Cl. Understood? Now Cl gone, with H O came. That is nothing but removal of hydrogen. That's nothing but, it is called as removal of hydrogen. Here also H2S we see, with H S is there. But now what we can see here, with H O is there. That is nothing but, we call this as removal of hydrogen. We call this as removal of hydrogen. So these both are the examples of oxidation reaction. These both are the examples of oxidation reaction. Understood, children, what is oxidation? Yes. Now if we see, in case if we see there is, if we see there in the above reaction, we have already seen, right? Yeah. If like addition of, if there is addition of hydrogen, addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen, or removal of oxygen is called as reduction reaction. What we call this as reduction reaction. Here we are adding hydrogen and removing oxygen, then such a reaction is called as reduction reaction. Then such a reaction is called as reduction reaction. Understood? Now let me see some examples. See here, children. Hydrogen plus sulfur, it gives hydrogen sulfide. Correct? It was only H. Now with H, S is coming. With H, S is coming. So this is reduction reaction. Means it is addition of hydrogen. Understood? And similarly we can see chlorine plus hydrogen sulfide, it gives hydrochloric acid or hydrochloride, it depends upon the condition, okay, plus yes, sulfur. Here also we can see it was H, now it is with HCl, that is addition of hydrogen, addition of hydrogen. In these both cases we have noticed, means no oxygen is there, no, that's it. Okay, we can see there is addition of hydrogen. Understood? Next, third case we can see zinc oxide plus carbon gives zinc plus carbon oxide. Understood? Zinc oxide plus carbon gives zinc plus carbon oxide. Got it? First with ZnO, ZnO was there. While it is coming here, it has become Zn. Understood? It has become Zn. So zinc is reduction. Here zinc is going under reduction. It is losing oxygen while it is coming to the opposite side. Similarly, copper oxide plus hydrogen gives copper plus water. First it was CuO. While it is coming here, it has become Cu. So Cu is, that CuO is becoming Cu. This is reduction reaction. This is reduction reaction. In this both we have seen there is removal of oxygen. In this both we have seen removal of oxygen. In above those cases we have observed there is addition of oxygen. Hence these are the different examples of oxidation reaction and reduction reaction. Understood, children? We have observed, right? The oxidation is just reverse of reduction and reduction is just reverse of oxidation. So oxidation and reduction reaction always occurs together. They always occurs together. So the substance which make oxidation, so we can say that the substance which make oxidation, the substance which make oxidation to occur are called oxidizing agents. We call those as oxidizing agents. Understood? Similarly, the substances which make reduction, means removal of oxygen or addition of hydrogen. The substances which make reduction to occur. Those are called as reducing agents. Understood, children? Who is helping? We call them as agents, no? The one who helps, he is called as agent. Yes or no? He is helping me. Similarly, the substance which make oxidation to occur is oxidizing agent. The substance which make reduction to occur, those are called as reducing agents. So oxidizing agent is a substance which gives oxygen or removes hydrogen. Correct? So here the reducing agent is a substance which gives hydrogen or removes oxygen. Understood? And causes reduction. So this is the basic concept related to oxidation reaction and reduction reaction. Understood? If both simultaneously occurs together, then it is called as redox reaction. Understood, children? So here I just want to give you one more important note, that is, see children, this only one equation explains you complete concept, that is CuO plus H2, which gives Cu plus H2O. Okay, in this reaction we can say hydrogen removes oxygen. Correct? Hydrogen, what it is doing? It removes oxygen from copper oxide. Hydrogen is removing oxygen. Hydrogen is, when it is coming to the product side, जब ये hydrogen इधर पे आ रहा है, when it is coming this side, what it is doing? He is first removing oxygen from copper oxide. Correct, no? So copper oxide is reduced and hydrogen behaves as reducing agent. Now hydrogen, when it is coming this side, it is behaving like reducing agent. Remember this, children. So he is reducing agent. Understood? He is asking copper oxide, leave oxygen. While he is going this side, hydrogen, what is telling to copper? Copper oxide, leave oxygen. Understood? So he is attached with oxygen in the opposite side. But process is addition of oxygen. But here what is happening? Here we can see there is addition of oxygen. That is nothing but oxidation is happening. See children, the process is oxidation, but hydrogen is behaving like reducing agent. Understood? Similarly, copper oxide gives oxygen to hydrogen, no? When copper oxide going this side, what it is doing? It is giving, take oxygen. I don't want oxygen. Understood? I don't want oxygen now. You take hydrogen, you take oxygen from me. Understood? He is telling for hydrogen, take oxygen from me. So this is called as, so copper oxide is called as, copper oxide CuO is called as oxidizing agent. Copper oxide is called as oxidizing agent, and this process is known as removal. This process is known as removal of oxygen. Understood, children? Removal of oxygen. That is nothing but reduction reaction. Understood? No, I think the concept is clear to you. The concept is clear, right? Yes or no? What happens when copper oxide plus hydrogen reacts? Who is oxidizing agent and who is called as reducing agent? Where oxidation is happening and where reduction is happening. So here we can say that finally CuO, that is copper oxide, makes oxidation. Copper oxide is what is doing? It makes oxidation to occur. He is helping. So Understood? Copper oxide is helping for oxidation, so it is known as oxidizing agent. So we call this as oxidizing agent. Similarly, H2, that is hydrogen, makes reduction. Hydrogen is taking, no, so he makes reduction to occur. Hydrogen is making reduction to occur, so we call this as reducing agent. So we call this as reducing agent. Understood, children? What is oxidation, what is reduction, and what is oxidizing agent, and what is reducing agent? Understood? The substance which oxygen is added is oxidized, and the substance which hydrogen is removed is oxidized. Understood? The substance with oxygen is added, the substance where oxygen is added is called as oxidized, or we can also say that the substance from which hydrogen is removed is also oxidized. Understood? The substance which gets oxidized acts as reducing agent. The substance which gets reduced will act as oxidizing agent. The substance which gets oxidized acts as reducing agent. The substance which gets reduced is called as reducing agent. Understood, children? Is this clear? Good. Now, one important note, yes, children, it is not there in your syllabus actually, but still my duty that I want to explain you about this. There is one more concept is called as electronic concept. Just you remember, it is not important for you, but you need to know. Okay, what is that called as? Electronic concept. Electronic concept of oxidation. Electronic concept of oxidation and reduction. So what is the meaning of electronic concept of oxidation and reduction? I'll give you one small example. Let me take one example, Fe plus S. It is giving FeS. Means ferrous, that is iron plus sulfide, ferrous plus sulfide, it gives ferrous sulfide. Correct? In second case, we see copper plus Cu plus I2, it gives CuI2. Children, we can see here in these both cases we cannot see here in these cases in the given above reactions, in these reactions do not involve, we cannot see addition of oxygen or loss of oxygen, both we cannot see. Correct? Here both the cases we cannot see whether there is addition of oxygen is there or removal of oxygen is there. Both are not present, or addition of hydrogen or removal of hydrogen is also not there. There is no O symbol also, and there is no H symbol also. Both are not there. Then, sir, is it not oxidation reaction, or sir, it is not reduction reaction? Sir, whether oxidation reduction is happening in this or not, how to identify? That is what I am going to explain here. So these reactions do not involve any gain or loss of oxygen or hydrogen. Correct? No, they are not telling us whether oxidation is happening or reduction is happening. Yes or no? We cannot, it is telling, but we cannot see. That. Understood? In that case, what we should do? Children? How to identify whether oxidation happened or not? To understand this type of reactions, then we introduce a new concept of oxidation reaction. Understood? To understand this type of reactions, whether oxidation reduction is happened or not, because there is no oxygen and reduction, then we are going to use the method called as electronic concept. Which method we are taking, children? Electronic concept. Understood, children? Why electronic concept we use? Yes or no? We are using electronic concept for what purpose? For what purpose we are using, children? We are using this electronic concept to understand when they have not given or when we doesn't know whether oxidation is happening or reduction is happening, means whether there is gain of oxygen or loss of oxygen, or gain of hydrogen or loss of hydrogen is happening. During that time we use the method called as electronic concept. Understood? So this electronic concept is nothing but the modern concept. So this concept involves gain or loss of. Understood? So what electronic concept says, we can able to identify whether oxidation is happening or not, oxidation reduction is happening or not, on the basis of gain or loss of electrons. Understood? Here we can able to identify, but not on the basis of addition or loss of hydrogen or oxygen. Here it is based on completely electrons. It is based on completely electrons. So here if you want to say oxidation, here if you want to say whether it is oxidation or not, then there should be which involves loss of electrons. Loss of electrons. If there is loss of electrons, then we called as oxidation. Understood? If there is loss of electrons, then we called as oxidation. Example, first it was Na. Okay, now it is becoming Na plus E minus, means from Na we are removing the electrons. Understood? So this is oxidation. Similarly, Fe3 plus. Understood? When comes here, what it happens, it becomes Fe3 plus and it is giving one electron. What it is doing, children? It is giving one electron. It is giving Fe3 plus, what it is doing? It is giving one electron. So this is known as oxidation. This is known as oxidation, means there is a loss of electron. There is loss of electrons, so it is called as oxidation. Similarly, reduction. Similarly, let me see about reduction reaction. So reduction is what? Reduction is nothing but children, in oxidation, one more you need to remember, there is loss of electrons. Loss of electrons is nothing but during oxidation, atom or ion, oxidation process, what happens? Let you take atom or ion loses electrons. Remember, atom or ions, any of these both, they loses electrons. They loses electrons. Got it? So reduction is the process where there is gain of electrons, where we can see there is gain of electrons. When there is gain of electrons, then it is called as reduction reaction. Example, let me see chlorine Cl plus E minus, it gives Cl minus. Similarly, we can take S plus 2 negative, that is electron, gives S2 minus. We can see here Fe3 plus E minus, it gives Fe2 plus. So this all cases will explain us about reduction. Sir, how this is happening, all those things you no need to go in detail, just you remember gain of electrons and loss of electrons. Loss of electrons means oxidation, gain of electrons means reduction. Understood? But don't worry, it is not there in your exam. It is not there for you in your exam. Understood, children? In reduction is what is happening, children? Atom or ion gains electrons. Atom or ion gains electrons. Got it? Atom or ion gains electrons. So it is called as reduction reaction. So it is called as reduction reaction. Now similarly, what is oxidizing agent in this? Who is oxidizing agent? Who is oxidizing agent, children? Very simple. Oxidizing agent is the one, the substance which gains electrons. The substance which gains electrons is called as oxidizing agent. Then who is reducing agent? Similarly, what we have seen before, the substance which loses electrons, the substance which loses electrons. Understood? So it is called as reducing agent. I hope you have understood what is oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Any doubt, children? Let me to give an example to make you to understand. Sodium example I am taking. Sodium plus chlorine Cl2 gives NaCl. So Na is positive, Cl2 is minus, right? So it becomes NaCl. If we balance, it becomes 2 here and it becomes 2 here. Now in this we can say that Na, while it is going this side, it becomes NaCl. NaCl. Cl2 we can see here, while it is going here, what it becomes, you can see here. Now 2NaCl2 becomes 2NaCl. In this we can say that Na is become means Na loses electrons. Here Na, what is happening, children? Na is losing the electrons. So it is called as oxidation. Na is losing the electrons. Here we call this as, here we can say this as just a minute. Here we can say this as that sodium is known as reducing agent. Similarly, chlorine, here we called chlorine as oxidizing agent. Chlorine as oxidizing agent. But Cl2, it's going this side, it becomes Cl minus. Why? Because it gains electrons. It gains electrons, so it has got Cl minus ions. That's nothing but reduction reaction. Understood? So this both together is called as, this both the reactions together called as redox reaction. Redox reaction. Just to remember this type of concepts, it will be helpful for you in your further studies. Okay, this electronic concept, that is also called as modern concept. Okay, now we are going to start the new topic that is called as effects of oxidation, effects of oxidation and reduction, effects of oxidation and reduction in everyday life. In everyday life, effects of oxidation and reduction in everyday life. How oxidation and reduction is affecting in our everyday life, how these both are involved in our daily life, that is what we are going to study here. Done? Okay. See children, oxidation and reduction reactions, these both also have damaging effects on metals as well on our food also. Remember this. See children, oxidation and reduction reactions, they also have damaging effects on metals as well on our food. Okay, it is affecting on the metal as well as food also. We have two common methods, common effects we can see in our daily life, that is corrosion of metals and rancidity of food. Done? Now let me study about the topic corrosion. Now we are going to study about the topic corrosion. Okay, now children, what is corrosion? See children, we have seen in our daily life, okay, like example, the surface of many metals is easily attacked when exposed to atmosphere, right? You keep any metal in outside atmosphere, definitely what happens, some changes we can see over there, right? They react with air or water present in the environment, and then what happens, some undesirable compounds are going to form on their surfaces. These undesirable compounds, they are generally called as oxides. So this process is called as corrosion. Understood, children? Example, let me take, I have taken a metal piece, an iron piece, a metal, okay, I have kept this in the outside atmosphere. Once I have kept this in the outside atmosphere, what happens? This layer, okay, after some time we can see, due to the presence of air or water in the atmosphere, some undesirable compound is going to form. Same compound may become like this. Same compound is becoming like this. So initially it was like this. When it is exposed to atmosphere, after some time, then it has become, this product has become like this, means some undesirable compound has formed. Understood? So these changes, these undesirable compound which has formed, these are because of, generally they are forming because of some oxides, are going to form on them. So this process is called as corrosion. Okay, now let me discuss few important points related to corrosion. Yes children, so we can see definition of corrosion. Corrosion is a process of deterioration of a metal as a result of its reaction with air or water surrounding it. This is the definition of corrosion. Now let me see some examples related to corrosion. See children, when iron is exposed to moisture for a long time, when you have exposed to atmosphere, that is moisture for a long time, its surface acquires a brown flaky substance that is called as rust. If you have kept the iron in the atmosphere outside for a long time, you can see there is some brown color formation is going to take place. That brown color formation is nothing but, we call this as rust. Okay. Now the surface of copper acquires a green coating of basic copper carbonate in moisture. Because of this corrosion, one more effect is happening for copper. The surface of copper is getting a green color coating. A green color coating, that's nothing but a basic carbonate, that is basic copper carbonate. It's a basic copper carbonate in the moisture. If we keep the carbon, it's getting a green color coating. Understood children? This is also due to corrosion. Next, silver, we can see silver tarnishes and have a black coating. On silver, we can see, we can get a black color coating. This is also one of the effect due to corrosion. Next, even in lead, or you can take in stainless steel, they lose their luster due to corrosion. Even shiny surface, lead or stainless steel will be having a shiny surface, that is called as luster. Luster means shiny surface. Even they are going to lose that property due to corrosion. Now children, we can see the corrosion causes damage to car bodies, bridges, iron railings, shapes and many other articles, especially which is made up of iron. So corrosion is also damaging our car bodies. It is damaging the car bodies. You can see the bridges, iron railings, you can see the railway tracks, right? Yeah, iron railings, ships bodies, you can see so many things, especially which is made up of iron. Understood? Even due to corrosion, these all things are getting damaged. Now, what is rusting? They may ask you this question, very important. What do you mean by rusting? So, what is rusting? What is rusting? So, rusting is nothing but it is an oxidation process. Here, oxidation is happening. Okay, addition of oxygen. Or rusting is an oxidation process in which iron metal is slowly oxidized. Slowly iron, what it is doing? It is gaining oxygen by the action of air. Which air? The air which is having water. It means in the presence of water. That is nothing but moisture. Okay. So rusting is an oxidation process in which iron metal is slowly oxidized by the action of air. This process is called as rusting. This process is called as rusting. So this is the basic information related to corrosion. And also you should know that due to this corrosion, every year we are spending so much huge money to replace the damaged iron objects. Understood? Every year we are spending lots of money only just to change these iron products. Understood? Now next, if you become an engineer or a scientist, now you develop some technique so we can avoid this corrosion. But still we have some preventive measures to prevent corrosion. Understood? We have some preventive measures as well as why this is happening. That also we are going to discuss. And what are the preventive measures? How can we control this corrosion or rusting? How can we control these processes? That also we are going to discuss in next chapter, that is metals and non-metals. In that chapter we are going to discuss about still more information related to this corrosion. Okay, now we discuss the last topic of this chapter, that is nothing but rancidity. What it is? Rancidity. I hope you have understood about corrosion. Yes, that is rancidity. Understood? corrosion का तो क्या बेटा, जो भी सरफेस हम बाहर रखेंगे आउटसाइड एटमॉस्फेयर में, आउटसाइड एटमॉस्फेयर की वजह से क्या होगा, उसका स्ट्रक्चर चेंज हो जाएगा. अंडरस्टूड? क्योंकि इसमें एयर के अंदर वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, एयर मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, डस्ट पार्टिकल्स हैं, इन सारों की वजह से एंड इवन because of certain temperature and pressure, this all will be affecting the surface of this iron. वो सारे चीजें इसको अफेक्ट करेंगे, जिसकी वजह से क्या होगा, ये मेटल ऐसा हो जाएगा करोशन की वजह से. अंडरस्टूड? करोशन बस आयरन में ही नहीं होता है, बहुत से चीजों में करोशन को हम देख सकते हैं. करोशन वी कैन सी इन मेनी प्लेसेस, इन मेनी थिंग्स वी कैन सी करोशन. करोशन is not happening only in iron. Understood? Now what is rancidity? See children, when food materials containing fats and oils, you have seen right, whichever the food materials we are using in our daily life, जो भी हम खाने के लिए इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, उन सारों के अंदर क्या होता है, फैट्स एंड ऑयल तो प्रेजेंट होता ही है ना. यस, ಏನು ನಾವು ತಿಂತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಯಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಯಾ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಓಕೆ, when food materials containing fats and oils are left for some time, they get spoiled. ನೀವು ಹಾಗೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಫುಡ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, आप कोसा भी फूड लीजिए, you can take any food. Remember, the food what you are consuming, in that if oil or fat or oil and fat, if it is present, if you leave that type of food for some time or for some time, what happens, they get spoiled. They get spoiled, वो खराब हो जाएंगे. Understood? Spoil होने के साथ साथ क्या होगा, once if they get spoiled, even we get a foul smell, a very bad smell. In that food we can see a very bad smell, and even that is very unpleasant to eat. Correct? No, it is not fit to eat. It means unpleasant to eat. That's nothing but the taste also will get changed. Understood? The food smell is changing, the taste is also changing. Understood? Which food? The food which consists of oil and fat. That type of food, if you live for some time, they get spoiled. After they get spoiled, understood, we can see physically, we can experience it, what is happening. Why this is happening? What is the reason? Children, remember, these all things are happening. These all things are happening. Understood? Why? Let's see here. I'll just give some points related to that. You can make a note. You can make a note. The food which consists of oil and fats, that is oils and fats, left for some time, if we leave that for some time, they get spoiled. What is happening? They get spoiled and give foul smell, very bad smell, and unpleasant, and also they are giving unpleasant taste, very bad taste. Why this is? Because this is happening because when, remember this very important note, because when fats and oils are oxidized, means oxidation is happening in this. Understood? When fats and oils are oxidized, understood, they become rancid. Important word. Understood? Fats and oils, what is happening? They are oxidized. Since they are oxidized, they become rancid, means very harmful, very dangerous to eat. They become rancid, and their smell, due to this what happens, and their smell and taste changes. You should write this answer. They may ask you any question, any application question. Understood? This food I have kept like this, after some time it has got spoiled. Why? Give reason. Because you should tell that because it consists of fats and oils. Since fats and oils are present in them, so they are oxidized. Once if they are oxidized, they become rancid. So this is happened. Understood? So what is oxidation? Sorry, what is rancidity? Rancidity, we can explain that means we can say the change, we can say the change in order means smell. Okay, the change in order and flavor of oily and fatty foods by oxidation is called, this process is called rancidity. This process is called as rancidity. Understood? So due to the oxidation, whichever the food substances are there which consist of oil or fats, oils or fats, due to the oxidation the taste and smell is getting changed. So that process is known as rancidity. So we have different methods. To prevent, rancidity. Which are the different methods? Number one, by adding antioxidants. So what is the meaning of antioxidants? Simple. See children, if you see in food industry, understood, so many different substances are there, right? It means chemicals. If you take chocolate, biscuit, anything, you take any food industry, understood, they are making those all with some certain chemicals, right? Now they are added to food containing fats and oils which prevent oxidation. It means in the food they are adding some chemicals. Some substances they are adding. For what purpose? To prevent oxidation. Oxidation should not happen. So they are adding some different chemicals. Those different chemicals are called as antioxidants. So those different chemicals are called as antioxidants. Understood? So two commonly antioxidants we can use in food industry. Those are BHA. So which are the antioxidants we are using in food industry? That is BHA. What is BHA? That is nothing but butylated hydroxy anisole. This is one antioxidant we are using, as well as we are using, this is a common antioxidant which we are using. Okay, next is BHT. BHT is nothing but butylated, this is the name, okay, butylated hydroxy toluene. So these are the antioxidants. Antioxidants nothing but those are the different chemicals, those are the different substances which we are using to prevent oxidation. Oxidation should not happen. So this will controls from oxidation process. Understood? So this is the chemicals what we are using. That is nothing but by adding antioxidant we can prevent. Next point, by keeping in airtight containers. By keeping that in the food, whatever the food we have, we are keeping that food in airtight containers. By keeping the food in airtight containers, this is the first step by adding antioxidants. Okay, by keeping in airtight containers, what does it mean? Simple. See children, we are keeping the food in airtight container means they helps us to slow down oxidation. If you keep in airtight containers, okay, means air should not go inside, like that type of containers you should take, like the type of boxes you have to take. So at least what it does for some period, I'm not telling it's a permanent solution, for some time what they do, they slow down oxidation and increases the shelf life of the food materials. Shelf life means the validity of the food, the time period of the food. Understood? That is called as shelf life. So it increases the shelf life of the food. Understood? Next is method is called as by vacuum. By vacuum, VACWM, vacuum packing. By the next method is called as by vacuum packing. Now what do you mean by vacuum packing? See children, in most of the cases you may have seen the food items we are packing under vacuum conditions. We are packing under vacuum conditions. For an example, like vacuum conditions means you may have seen the chips packets, right? Yeah, that is called as vacuum packing. That is nothing but vacuum packing. They means in that how they used to pack, like no air or oxygen should go inside. Understood? Air or oxygen is available to bring about oxidation of the food, right? So what they do, understood, the chips and other food material manufacturers usually they flush bags of chips and eatable food items. Understood? They flush, first they are going to flush some air, they are going to flush some air into it, means gas into that. Which type of gas they are flushing for vacuum packing? They are flushing for vacuum packing, those are inert gases. First they flush with inert gas. Understood children? First what they are doing, first they are flushing that with flushing the chips packets by inert gas, that is such as nitrogen gas. Such as nitrogen gas, very important. In chips packet, all those things you can see nitrogen gas. So this nitrogen gas, what it does, it prevents from further getting oxidized. Understood? It prevents oxidation. Understood? It prevents further oxidation. And next point we can see here, by refrigeration. By refrigeration of the foods. The next method is by the refrigeration of the foods, right? You may have seen, right? This is a common method which we can see in our everyday life, like refrigerators we are using, no? Yes or no? We are using refrigerators. Fridge, we call it as fridges, right? Yeah, that is what refrigerators we are using. Understood? To prevent further oxidation, that is the food should not get oxidized. When the food we keep in the refrigerators, what happens? The oxidation of food and oil in the food gets slowed down because of low temperature. In refrigerators we have low temperature. In refrigerators we have low temperature, so rancidity due to oxidation is checked over there. Okay, next method is by storing food away from light. By storing the food away from light. See children, if there is absence of light, what happens? The oxidation of fats and oils in the food is slowed down. Understood? And rancidity is retarded over there. If we store the food in a dark place, by storing the food away from light in the dark place, so what happens? It is also one of the method to prevent rancidity. You may have seen some medicines, they used to tell, right, keep in the store in dark place. I think you have seen the syrups or some tablets or something, store in cool and dry place, store in dark place. They used to write that note, you may have seen. That is all things just because that should not get oxidized. Means if it is getting oxidized, what happens? The chemical, the nature of the chemical will change. If temperature increases, the nature of the chemical will change. That is the reason what they do, they used to keep away from light. So this is what about rancidity. I hope you all have understood the concepts of corrosion and rancidity, oxidation, reduction reaction, and even the different types of chemical reactions. So this is the end of this chapter, chemical reactions and equations. Okay, see children, we have already explained regarding this oxidation, right? we have discussed, right, about oxidation and reduction reaction. And also we have done this experiment, right? When copper reacts with oxygen, gives cuprous oxide, copper oxide. Again it reacts with hydrogen, it gives copper plus water. We have discussed about oxidation and reduction. So children, remember these examples also, different examples we have already discussed. And here also the same thing, what is oxidation, what is reduction, and what is oxidizing agent and reducing agent we have explained. And regarding corrosion we have explained, even rancidity also we have explained in detail over here. Now I want you have to solve these question answers. You can see here, why does the color of the copper sulfate solution changes when an iron nail is dipped in it? So we have done that experiment, right? So I have told you what is the color of the solution changes and what is the color of the nail, right? The nail color also has changed, and even the solution color also has got changed. That you need to tell over there, and you can just try to solve these question answers. You can just copy down these questions if in case if you don't have the textbook. Question number 2, 3. Okay, so this is what actually we have learned in this chapter. You can see the summary, and these are the exercise. Some few question answers are there. I want you need to solve these questions by your own. Okay, these are the questions I want you have to solve by your own. Do remember, we have already discussed all these topics. Complete information has been given to you all. So this is your exercise question and answers which you need to solve. Okay, so I want you have to solve these number of question and answers in detail. We have already explained in detail. Now you are supposed to solve these all questions. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. In case if you have liked this video, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe this channel. Our YouTube channel is Evershine Coaching Groups. Do not forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. So we have completed the complete unit of chemical reactions and equations with complete 7 sessions, right? We have done altogether 7 sessions to complete this chapter in very in detailed manner. So thank you once again. Wish you all the best of luck. Please, how was this session? Do not forget to comment below in the given description box. Thank you. Wish you all the best of luck. Do well. Once again, thanks for all the students to cooperating with us and listening to our class. So long duration classes actually, right? It's very long hours. Really, I appreciate your patience. But what to do? We have to explain in detail. Then only the concept will be clear, crystal clear. And same manner we are going to explain each and every chapter in so detailed manner. And also we solve some question answers, okay, some model question papers we are going to solve chapter wise, content wise, topic wise. This is all actually we used to do in our Evershine Coaching Center, and our institute is there in Tannery Road, Bangalore, Evershine Coaching Center. Okay, if you are finding any doubts you can ask me. And we have got one more branch, that is Shivaji Nagar branch, near Shivaji Nagar bus stand. We have one more branch of Evershine Coaching Center. These are the institutes what do we have got. Okay, anyways, wish you all the best of luck. Bye.